The storm closes in faster than the forecast warned. One moment the highway is visible. The next, it disappears into a wall of white. Snow sweeps across the asphalt in dense, wind-driven sheets, erasing lane markers, swallowing headlights, turning distance into nothing. Traffic slows, then stops. Within minutes, the line of vehicles becomes a frozen convoy buried inside the storm. Outside, the temperature is already minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind packs snow against the doors, the wheel wells, and slowly around the rear of the car, where the exhaust breathes into the blizzard, you barely notice. Inside, the heater hums steadily. Warm air spills from the vents and spreads through the cabin like relief. Your hands stop shaking, your breathing slows, the glass fogs faintly with every breath you take. You lean closer to the vents, closer to the heat. It feels safe. The car is warm, the storm is sealed outside, the engine is still running somewhere beneath the snow. Your eyelids begin to sink. Just a moment, just enough to rest, because the warmest seat in a snowstorm feels like shelter, but sometimes that warmth isn't protecting you. Still, silent, asleep, forever. Most people believe a snowstorm kills you with cold, but in many stranded cars, the victims are not found frozen. They're found warm. Inside the vehicle, engine running, asleep. Carbon monoxide doesn't knock. Most people think a snowstorm kills with cold. Frostbite, hypothermia, the slow draining of heat from the body. But in many stranded vehicles, the first threat isn't temperature, it's the air. Every running engine produces carbon monoxide. Normally, it disperses harmlessly behind the car, but when drifting snow piles up around the rear bumper, the exhaust pipe can become partially buried. The engine keeps running, the heater keeps blowing warm air, and the gas that should have escaped begins circulating back toward the vehicle, sometimes under the chassis, sometimes through tiny gaps in the frame, sometimes directly through the ventilation system. Inside the cabin, nothing feels wrong. The air still feels warm, still breathable, but carbon monoxide has a different strategy. It attaches to hemoglobin in your blood nearly 200 times more aggressively than oxygen, silently blocking oxygen from reaching the brain and heart. No smell, no burning lungs, no warning, just warmth, and a growing urge to sleep. To understand why this happens so quietly, you have to look at what carbon monoxide actually does inside the body. Your blood carries oxygen using a protein called hemoglobin. Every breath you take loads those molecules with oxygen and delivers it to your brain, your muscles, your heart. It's a simple exchange that keeps every cell alive. Carbon monoxide breaks that system. When CO enters the bloodstream, it competes for the same binding sites on hemoglobin, but it binds more than 200 times more tightly than oxygen. Once attached, it doesn't let go easily. Those blood cells can no longer deliver oxygen where the body needs it most. The brain is usually the first organ affected. At first, the symptoms are subtle: a dull headache, slight dizziness, a strange fatigue that feels almost comforting in the warm cabin. Judgment begins to slip. Reaction time slows. Small decisions, like opening a door or cracking a window, start to feel unnecessary. This is the deception. Carbon monoxide doesn't trigger the body's normal suffocation alarm. Your lungs still feel full of air. Your breathing still feels normal. But the oxygen that should reach your brain never arrives, and the body responds the only way it can. It shuts down, quietly, gradually, warm, and asleep. When a car is stranded in a snowstorm, the first instinct is simple: move toward warmth. People slide forward in the seat, closer to the heater vents, sealing the cabin to keep every degree of heat inside. In extreme cold, warmth feels like protection. But that instinct can quietly turn against you. As snow drifts build around the rear of the vehicle, the exhaust pipe can become partially buried without being visible from the driver's seat. The engine is still running, exhaust is still being produced, but now the gas has fewer places to escape. It begins to pool beneath the vehicle. From there, it can seep upward through tiny gaps in the chassis, door seals, or ventilation system. Even systems that normally draw outside air can pull in contaminated air when exhaust accumulates around the vehicle. Carbon monoxide doesn't need a large opening, only time, and the warmest place in the cabin is usually where people stay the longest, where they relax, where vigilance fades, where the danger becomes invisible. Picture a driver named Mark stranded during a Colorado snowstorm. Traffic stopped hours ago. The temperature keeps falling. Every 20 minutes, he starts the engine for heat, watching the fuel gauge and waiting for the storm to pass. From the driver's seat, nothing looks dangerous, but outside the car, the storm is slowly changing the physics around the vehicle. Snow drifts pile against the rear bumper. Wind packs loose powder under the chassis. The exhaust pipe that should release gases into open air becomes partially buried, without any obvious signal inside the cabin. The engine keeps running, exhaust keeps flowing, but the gas now has nowhere clean to go. Instead, it spreads beneath the vehicle, collecting in the small pocket of air trapped under the frame. Carbon monoxide is light enough to move easily with turbulence, and once it accumulates beneath the car, it only needs small pathways to move upward: door seals, ventilation gaps, tiny imperfections in the vehicle body. Mark still feels warm. The heater is working. The car feels sealed from the storm. But the danger isn't outside the vehicle anymore. It's slowly gathering underneath him. When the storm shows no sign of stopping, another instinct takes over. Keep the engine running. The logic feels simple. As long as the heater works, the cabin stays warm. And if the car stays warm, you stay alive. Many stranded drivers make this decision as night falls. A woman in Minnesota once described the moment clearly. The temperature outside had dropped below -20 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind was shaking the vehicle. Turning the engine off felt like inviting the cold inside, so she let it idle, hour after hour, trusting the warmth more than the storm. But a running engine changes the risk equation. Every minute the engine runs, exhaust continues to accumulate, if the pipe is even partially obstructed. Carbon monoxide levels can climb inside a confined space far faster than most people expect. Warm air keeps flowing. Your breathing still feels normal, but the longer the engine runs without proper ventilation, the more the cabin becomes something else, not shelter. A sealed chamber slowly filling with invisible exhaust. Eventually, the storm wears you down. Hours pass inside the same motionless car. The heater hums. The wind fades in and out. Fatigue begins to settle into your muscles. And the warm cabin starts to feel less like a temporary refuge and more like a place to rest. So, people make a quiet decision. Just sleep for a while. It feels harmless. The car is warm. The engine is running. Outside is lethal cold. Inside feels protected. But this is the moment the danger sharpens. Carbon monoxide interferes with the brain's oxygen supply long before the body senses suffocation. As levels rise in the bloodstream, the brain begins losing clarity. Judgment weakens, awareness fades. Sleep doesn't arrive the way normal sleep does. It arrives as slowing, slower thinking, slower reactions, heavy eyelids that feel impossible to fight. And once consciousness fades, the body loses the only defense it still had, the ability to recognize danger and wake up. A snowstorm doesn't just trap your vehicle, it traps your judgment. Hours in a confined space begin to change how the brain processes risk. Stress hormones rise at first, cortisol, adrenaline, keeping you alert while the storm intensifies. But as time passes, the brain shifts into conservation mode. Fatigue sets in. Attention narrows. The mind starts searching for signals of safety. Warmth becomes that signal. The heater is blowing. Your hands aren't shaking anymore. The cabin feels stable, controlled, protected from the chaos outside. The brain interprets that comfort as proof that the danger has passed. But comfort is not evidence. In survival situations, the brain often confuses relief with safety. And once that belief settles in, vigilance drops. That's when invisible threats move closest. Because the storm outside isn't always the thing that kills you. Sometimes the real predator is already inside the car. Once carbon monoxide begins binding to hemoglobin, the body enters a quiet cascade of failure. Oxygen is still in the air. You are still breathing, but less and less of that oxygen reaches the brain. The first change is subtle. You stop thinking clearly. Confusion replaces judgment. Simple decisions, cracking a window, turning off the engine, stepping outside to check the exhaust, begin to feel unnecessary. Your hands grow clumsy. Fine motor control fades. This is why many victims never escape the vehicle. Carbon monoxide doesn't overwhelm you with pain. It erodes awareness. And by the time the brain understands something is wrong, the brain no longer has enough oxygen to act. A snowstorm doesn't only test your tolerance to cold, it tests whether you understand the physics around you. Warmth inside a vehicle can feel like safety. But survival in extreme weather is never about comfort. It's about air. It's about understanding that an engine running in a buried car changes the chemistry of the space you're breathing in. Carbon monoxide doesn't need violence. It only needs time and a sealed cabin. Physics doesn't negotiate with instinct. And in a storm, the difference between shelter and a trap can be one blocked exhaust pipe. If this warning reaches even one driver before the next blizzard, it could stop a silent death inside a warm car. Share it. Because storms will come again. If your car were buried in snow tonight, would you recognize the danger before the warmth convinced you to sleep?